So we have quartiles. Okay. The first one, as you can see, I'm going to call it Q1. Okay. This is so that 25% of the data values are below it. That's just how Q1 is set up. The second one, Q2, is actually the median. And remember, we saw this with the median. 50% of the data values are below it. We also have Q3, the third quartile. That says 75% of the data values are below it. We will see how to calculate this. But putting this all together, what this is doing is it's breaking up the data as follows. You have the minimum. Between the minimum and Q1 are 25% of the data values. Between Q1 and Q2, which is the median, you have another 25%. Between Q2 and Q3, you have another 25%. Between Q3 and the maximum, you have the remaining 25%. Okay. In fact, these numbers are so important, they actually have what they call this 5-number summary of the data. Q1, well, sorry, the minimum, Q1, okay, the median, which is Q2, right? That's the median, Q3, and the maximum, quartiles. Okay. So that's what they are. Sorry, I hope I didn't go too fast. Let me stay on the slide for a bit. I mean, it's in the notes I sent you before the lecture. Okay. Again, it's just another way of summarizing the data, so to say. You know, it is useful. Helps us analyze the data, see what's going on, what the data is telling us. You know, we can learn a lot from the data. Here I didn't write it, but you'll see in the next slide, we have to sort the data from smallest to largest before dealing with this. Really, it's just like the median. What's actually interesting is you'll see is that to get any of these, Q1, Q2, Q3, it's very similar to the median. Finding the median, that is. I mean, the min and max, those are easy once you sort the data. Okay, so how do we get these? Well, let's suppose n was the number of data values. Okay, so n could be 8, 12, 100, whatever. You want to sort the data or organize it if you want from smallest to largest. You could do that by hand. If there's a lot of data, it might be better off doing that by Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel. I have shown you how to sort data in Google Sheets. Okay. Now here I'm using the books notation. I will explain it. The next thing you're going to compute is this number. You're going to compute L, which is 25% of N, which is this. So 0.25 times N. This is a product. And depending on what you get will determine the next step. If you get a decimal in there, in other words, if you get something like 3.1 or 5.8, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to round up to the next highest whole number. So if we had 3.5, let's say, you would round up to 4. If you had 5.1, you would round up to 6. This is notation that the book is using. So for rounding up to the next whole number. Now, I haven't seen this notation in other places, but that doesn't mean it's not used. And then just like with the median, the number in that position, that data value in that position, that will be our Q1, our first quartile. Okay. Again, after you round up, so like 5.1, if you round up to 6, the data value in the 6th position, okay? The data value there is Q1. If instead you get a whole number, so you get like 4, 5, 8, 9, whatever, then just like with the median, you're going to have to find another mean. Namely, you're going to find the data values in the L and L plus 1 position, and you get the mean of them. We'll do some examples, don't worry. I know this is probably confusing. Hopefully I'm making it less confusing. Although I think when we do examples, it'll be less confusing. Okay. That's for Q1. For Q3, right? That's a third quartile. You're going to do the same exact process, except it's going to be 0.75 times n. That's for Q3. And you could actually do this process for the median. In fact, we did do that in a sense. Namely, the only difference, though, is that L would be 0.5 times n, or 0.50 times n, same idea. I left it as 0.50 to remind you the median, 50%. But this is the process. There is something in the book called percentiles, and that I'll probably get to next time. Other than that, I'll probably start chapter 12 next time. But let's do the 5-number summary for some data values. So let's suppose we had this data. So let's suppose we had this data. Okay? We want to get the 5-number summary. Again, there's 12 data values here. You could sort it by going to Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets if you want. You can do that. As you can see, I didn't do that here, but I have done it before. With the histograms and the bar graphs, we have seen. Well, excuse me, with the histograms, I'm pretty confident I've done that. Once you sort, here it's already sorted though anyway. But you can see that the minimum is 59, the maximum value is 78. So the minimum is 59, maximum 78. Now we get the quartiles. We get Q1, Q2, Q3. For Q1, 25% of 12, we're calculating that L, which is 0.25 times 12, right? L was 0.25 times n. That's the same thing as 25% of n. And that's 3. This is a whole number, right? What's nice is that the data is all in front of us and it's already sorted. It makes it a little bit easier. But because it's a whole number, we have to get another mean. So we're going to get the 3rd and 4th data value, which in this case is 1, 2, 3, 4, 62, and 64. So we get the mean of these two, the 3rd and 4th, 62 and 64. And if you take their mean, their average that is, you get 63. For the median, right? I went through the same process because it will get you the median, right? 50% of 12 is 6, which is a whole number, right? So what we have then is we look at the 6th and 7th data value. In the old process, which is equivalent to this, since there are an even number of data values, right? Remember, we take half and then we take one more. So 12 over 2 is 6. And we look at the 6th and 7th data value, get their mean. Same thing as here. We get the 6th and 7th data value. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these two, we take their mean. And we get this, which is 68. Remember, it can happen that the median and the other quartiles, they may not be data values. That can happen. That's okay. Q3, okay, that's 75% of 12. In other words, we're going to do the same thing as either one of these, basically. Same process initially, but now we do 0.75 times 12. Now, you could use a dot to represent multiplication. Pretty sure I've said that before. But we get 9, which is a whole number. So we have to go now to the 9th number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We get the average of the 9th and 10th data values. And that's 73. At 72 and 74, we get the average of that, which is 73. The maximum is 78. This is the 5-number summary. Right? Minimum, Q1, Q2, Q3, maximum. That was one example. Here's another one. Okay? Here's another one. So again, this is all the data here. Okay? We have to sort this though. Right? To sort it, again, I typed all this into one column in Google Sheets. Then on the menu bar, I clicked, and I highlighted the data, I went to the menu bar and clicked data and sort. It was sort range from A through Z. And it gave me this. Okay, so we get the minimum at least. We get the maximum immediately, that is. And there's 15 data values. So Q1, right? You get L, which is 0.25 times 15. And if you do, you do, what do you call it? Use a calculator if you have to. You get 3.75. Okay, well, that's a decimal, isn't it? So we're going to round up to 4 and use the 4th data value, the data value in the 4th position. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our Q1, 175. Okay, that's good. Okay. Then, just looking at my watch for a second to make sure I don't run out of time. So we have Q1 here. Let me just pause the clock.